no secret that the state of Illinois, like just about every state in the United States, has been going through and is going through difficult economic times, and trying our best to balance the budget, and oftentimes the faces you see are faces like mine, or the governors, the legislative leaders, and you don't see the faces of the people behind the scenes that are actually doing the work. And amongst them is Malcolm Weems. Malcolm Weems has served in the governor's office of management and budget for a number of years, and they're the people who are crunching the numbers and figuring out how to make government work from day to day. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice that I made with Donna and not recognize a promotion. Malcolm was recently named director of the Central Management System. Services. I knew I'd make some mistake. And for those of y'all who don't know, it's kind of the heart of state government, the procurement arm of state government. Malcolm is a friend, is a very competent public servant, somebody who values diversity, and I'm going to let him come forth and tell you a little bit about that. But before I do that, I do want to recognize the governor could not be here today for obvious reasons, but the deputy governor, Crystal Thomas, is here. So any message you have for Pat Quinn? Crystal, I bring you Malcolm Weems.
Well, thank you. I'd like to thank this is my senator, by the way, so I have to make sure the same thing he was doing for all the judges, I have to do for him. Thank you very much, Senator Rowland. But I also like to thank Miller Canfield. I'd like to thank the Cook County Bar Association and ABLE for even wanting to hear what I have to say. So I'm highly honored. Now, I get to speak at a lot of different places, and I'm always competing with some other interest that's going on, but never this kind of a spread in the middle. So bear with me as I'm trying to keep my mind on track here. Again, I was just recently appointed 2 months ago, the acting director of Central Management Services. Until I'm confirmed, I have to say acting by the Senate. But I've been here. I've been on the job 2 months. As the senator mentioned, I was formerly the chief of staff of the governor's office of management and budget. I've been at the state now about 5.5 years, and I started off at Central Management Services in procurement, and then got recruited to the governor's office of management and budget. What I want to talk to you all about tonight is kind of like it's my thing. Once I got in office, got in this seat. You do live in my district. I do live in your district. No, I got into the office that I'm in now, and I mean that I don't mean that in an elected sense. But what happened was we recognized there were some things that we could do better. Working at the state as long as I have, and being in the governor's office of management and budget, I was able to see a lot of the things that are going on. And so I had some time when I sat down with the governor and we talked about me coming into this role. You know, we really talked about what it is I would be doing and what I would be allowed to do. And so that's really important, I think, because a lot of times people get appointed in roles, and I think, you know, if I were the public looking, I would say, oh, we're going to get a little bit more of what we already had because the situation hasn't changed. So what I really want to talk about is, hey, how I see the situation, how we plan on changing the situation, and really extending myself to you all, because this is, I'm expecting this to be a growing relationship. To get it done right, I'm going to need you all's help. So the first thing that we have to really think about is, as Central Management Services, what is it that really means? The senator mentioned procurement, but we do a lot of stuff. We're a nerve center agency for the state. So not only do we do procurement, which is contracting, we manage all of the state-owned and leased facilities. That's 58 million square feet of space that we manage. 13,000 vehicles on our state fleet. We do all of IT infrastructure, and we do all of the administrative and personnel rules for about 50,000 employees. So without going deep, we do a lot. We do a little bit of everything. But one of the most important things for me coming on, as I mentioned, I talked when I had to sit down with the governor about getting this this job was being able to make sure that we could do something to affect the contracting situation, the minority contracting situation, and also in employment. These are the issues that are facing the country. I think everybody understands that. But we wanted to make sure that we could actually do something. So when he talked about me coming into this role, we sat down and I asked him I want to be an ambassador to the business world, because I think that's going to be really key to kind of changing some of the things that are going on at the state. I think public-private partnerships are going to be a cornerstone of kind of righting the route of this ship. So he agreed, and I had his support, which I was not a small thing to me. The governor, I've known the governor about 2 years now, and for him to trust me and then to give me the support to kind of do what I thought needed to be done, I thought said a lot about him. So once he appointed me, kind of took a survey of the land to see what was going on, and what we found is that there are opportunities that are not being, that certain groups are not getting to participate fully in the contracting process with the state. So main thing for me was making sure that I could deal with that, I could deal with employment, but we could also deal with how do we make the state itself, not just with regard to diversity, but let's be more efficient and have a better spend. The last thing you want to hear, I think personally, when you make less money, you spend less money, right? Most people, you're not supposed to just try to live on your credit cards and keep going. So part of that is how do we kind of cut down on our spend? What is the stuff that is not necessary? And that's what we get to do at CMS. We get to look at how do we trim that spend? How do we make it a more efficient spend, a better spend for you, for us, for all of us? As I want to mention that because the private-public partnerships that we're talking about is really me doing what I'm doing here tonight, kind of going out to speak in many different locations. I've been all around the city, up and down the state in the last 2 months. My wife is here; she'll tell you she don't like it that much. But we're doing something that's important, and I think she understands that. We really want to make sure that the business community is engaged, especially diverse businesses. We want to engage them. We want to break down the barriers that have kind of kept people from doing business with us in the past. We want to show people, we want to teach people how to bid on contracts. I think most of the folks here probably are a little at the advanced stage, but even people that have had contracts with the state, we want to make sure you get paid. That's the other part. The contract does you no good unless you get paid. A program that I actually developed when I was in the Governor's Office of Management and Budget is the vendor payment program. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but essentially what it is a working capital program that allows investors to buy receivables of people waiting for their money. Now everybody's not eligible for it, but there's a pretty large group that just basically basic goods and services that we encourage you that if you do have a contract with the state, look into it. We do know that, and the funny story, and I don't really want to belabor people with my personal views about things, but there was a young woman that used to work for me at the Park District before I worked at the state, and she left the Park District to start a kind of a magazine. I think some of you may have heard of it, True Star. Yeah. And Natae Thompson, and she's the sister's very, very strong, intelligent woman. She left her job at the Park District, started this organization to teach young folks how to be journalists, and she gets grants from the state. And I picked up a Cranes magazine and I saw her there waiting for her money, couldn't pay people. She was still doing the work, couldn't pay people for 6, 7 months. And she was going to some finance company that was taking 28% of her revenue to get a loan because we hadn't paid her. That was when we started working on the program. And so I never told that to Natae, but she is definitely the reason why we started investigating ways of making sure we could pay vendors. Now, I bring that up because I think that's probably the most important part, because once you get somebody into the system and get them an opportunity to bid on contracts, if you don't pay them, you could put them out of business. And I think we've been on the brink of doing that with a lot of people, and I'm hoping that this program will help change some of that around. So that's one area. With regard to our BEP program, which is the Business Enterprise Program, which is the program that's really designed to help minorities, women-owned businesses, and those businesses owned by people with disabilities, to help them participate, what we really want to do is grow that program. We have about 1,700 vendors in that program right now. I'd like to see that double. I'd like to see the amount of contracts that people that are actually subject to participation goals is about $4 billion. We'd like to see that grow. Just to put it in perspective, Central Management Services handles procurement for about $10 billion worth of spend. And as far as I'm concerned, until someone shows me otherwise, close to $10 billion of spend should be subject to participation goals. Now, getting that to happen is going to take a lot of work. It takes us empowering folks that work at the state that have been trying and fighting those fights for a long time. Because I have the support of the governor's office, I pretty much kind of push people on that particular point. Some friends I've made, some enemies I've made, but at the end of the day, it's what the governor wants to do. I think it's what constituents need. And I think when we start to have businesses that, again, have this barrier that keeps them from participating, once we start to break that down, I think we start to see better pricing anyway. We start to see a more competitive field when it comes to when we go out for bid. So we're really excited about that. We've empowered our BEP council. We didn't empower them. The legislature empowered them. They did not know that they had the ability to cancel contracts. That's right. They did not know that they had the power to cancel contracts that did not have participation goals if they were reasonable, if it was reasonable for that contract to happen. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That means that there are contracts that go out that have no participation goals on them and have been that way for years and years and years. We can cancel them. And that's what we're doing at CMS. We're letting businesses know where it's reasonable, you should have a participation goal. And they can work with our BEP program to set that goal. But if they don't want to play ball with us, then we need to cancel the contract and go out to bid with somebody that wants to play. That's something we're doing. Again, we're making some friends, and we are making some enemies. But again, I think the enemies that we make doing that are the people we want to expose anyway. Because at the end of the day, it's all of our tax dollars. And if the statute says that it should have a goal, it should have a goal. So those are really important areas. I don't want to leave here without also talking about employment. Because we do the administrative rules and hiring rules for 50,000 employees, it's important for us to, we have a lot of community groups that come in that may not represent businesses, but yet they represent people that are they're seeking work, employment. Really, we want to work with the legislature to help write some rules. We also know that we have a union contract coming up for renewal. For some of you, I don't know if you know, but the state of Illinois is about 90% union employees. And that's a lot. That's more than any other state. And so it's important to change employment in a real meaningful way for us to really get inside that bargaining unit contract and treat it like any other contract. Maybe we need participation though. Again, these are things that we're going to work to do. Again, that's going to be tough. We're going to need some help. But I think that at the end of the day, I think you understand why. So these are a lot of the things that we want to push. I have a 100-day report card coming out. My staff keeps reminding me, all the things, because I'm a real competitive nature person, so I want to be the best director of the state and all these things. But I also have a really talented staff that is incredibly diverse. I believe my general counsel is here, Nadine Lacombe, and a young brother, Chima, that also works with me. But again, our executive team is mostly minority. Mostly minority. I'm sorry. I can't not mention Ashley Hooks, who helped me prepare for today. But we have a very diverse team and very talented team. And my real job is to defend them and let them do their job, but also make sure that we carry home some of the initiatives that the governor has supported. Again, we're going to take 2 steps towards you. I want you to just take a half step towards us because we need the cooperation. Whatever your experience has been with Central Management Services, get it. We're going to start from scratch. Let's start from scratch. And we, again, judge us on what we're doing today. I think, and anyone will tell you, I take meetings with almost anybody that's trying to bring an idea. I think, again, private and public partnerships come to us. I know some people are worried about Senate Bill 51, which is the new procurement law that came out that makes people a little nervous about talking to us. Don't worry, we have great attorneys that'll tell you what we can and cannot do. But we want to hear what the ideas are. We know that the private sector is where the innovation starts, right? You all have to worry about the bottom line. So therefore, you're going to be more efficient in your spend. State government's a little slower. But if you all work with us, I think we can incorporate a lot of your best practices and get a better spend out of the state. So again, we'll take the step towards you. Please feel free. I brought a lot of cards. We're going to make sure we pass them all out. But I really do want help from you all. I really do want you to come and talk to us and give us your ideas. and I want you to hold us accountable for what I say to you today. I believe my team is they know what time it is. They know how serious we take this. So again, I thank you all for having me.
Malcolm reminded me of a couple of things, and Donna did as well. So I want to make sure that before Donna recognizes all her members, which many of you all will like to meet in the corner, when Malcolm identified his general counsel, Nadine Lacombe, old friend of mine, it also reminded me that people you want to meet most are the general counsels and the inside attorneys, and we got Peggy Davis here for the Metropolitan Bureau Exposition Authority, so corner her. I just saw Robert Johnson from McDonald Corporation come in the room. Corner him before he escapes. Kessler from County of Cook. Kessler, where are you? We got Marcus Gustav from City of Chicago. Don't let these people escape before you talk to them after they've spoken to Miller Canfield attorneys. And then finally, I'm going to recognize my state representative, Kim Dubaclay.
Larry Rogers.
Hey. And my good friend and law school classmate, Commissioner